Hey everyone, it's That Artsy Girl, and today I'm doing a project that's pretty special to me, and so I just want to start off by telling you about it. First, there's some good news and bad news, but I'll tell you the bad news first because it's better to end on a good note, right? Okay, so in this drawing I did colored pencil, Copic marker, and watercolor. Unfortunately, I lost all the footage of the watercolor, and annoyingly, because I was most excited about that part, but the background of this whole piece will be watercolor, and if you pause the frames really swiftly in the beginning, you might be able to see the piece of watercolor for like 0.06 seconds. I don't even know. Alright, so this project is a little bit different also from some previous ones because I decided to omit the line art from the beginning. And what I mean by this is I usually go over all my penciled sketch lines, I guess you could say, with some sort of black or sepia colored liner marker. But I decided not to do that this time, and here's why. I guess I have been feeling lately like doing outlines in the beginning with marker limits me. For instance, I notice when I do hair or something, I'm just kind of stuck with it, you know? I can't add little foofy poofy things, or I don't know, what if I change my mind while I'm coloring? So I decided that perhaps I could just go the route of color blocking first and then outlining later if desired. So that's what I did, and I'm pretty happy with it. And honestly, I think I'm going to do it more often because it was so much fun. I just feel like my character looks, I don't know, like not as crisp and cartoony, but it's still cartoony. And so I just decided that I really liked that, I guess. And I'm pretty happy with it. Let me know what you think about outlining first or last. I hope your vocal cords are treating you well because mine are just doing weird things. Alright, so let me tell you about this character, finally, now that I've rambled for a good two and a half minutes. Alright, so this character's name is HALINA, and that is spelled H-A-L-I-N-A. It's Polish for light, and I'm pronouncing it in the French way, which H's are silent because I kind of like that, and when I read it, that's how I pronounced it in my head. I've taken a lot of French classes, and so naturally when I read unfamiliar words, I just kind of resort to the French pronunciation, and I decided I liked that. So if I'm not pronouncing it right, you're going to have to deal with it because that's how I'm pronouncing it for her name. So I hope you like it. Alright, one thing I did notice, I just have to interrupt and talk about this now before I forget. Okay, when I did her hair, which was so much fun because there was no outlines and I could just do what I wanted, and little wispies went all over the place, and it was so cool. Anyway, her neck. Just take a look at her neck for a second, and I'm going to show you guys how to critique your artwork, okay? I'm going to point out something that I think is wrong with my piece, but it doesn't mean I'm completely trashing my piece of art. I'm actually really proud of this, and I love this piece. But there is one thing that I can improve. So, look at her hair by her neck. There's this little chunk of hair that kind of overlaps her neck, and that's what starts the stretch of laying on her shoulders. But the hair kind of points outward toward the outside of the paper, and it should be pointing inward, and so it kind of makes her neck look weird because it's almost unnatural for her hair to be swinging in like that because, I mean, it can't get up that high off her jawbone, or under her jawbone, you know what I mean? And so if I could go in and fix it, I would totally do that and change that about my piece. But you know what? My art's not perfect either, and we all need to improve on things, and that's just something I noticed that I have to improve on. And like I said, I'm still really proud of this, but that's just one thing that I could improve on. For instance, I'm really proud of the colors that I worked with in the hair, and I like her eyes. I actually love her eyes because it's different than my usual eyes. And so there, I showed you how to constructively critique your art. You can say something that you need to improve, but you can also say things you like. You're allowed to compliment yourself, dude. Or ladies, whatevs. But yeah. Also, if you noticed a little while ago, I was doing coloring on the shirt. And I used a sepia marker actually to do like all these little threads, and then I used those Spica glitter pens that same company Copic markers are from, the company 2. Those things are like, oh, I love them, and you can't really see the glitter from where the camera's pointing, but if you tilt the paper, it's like her whole shirt just lights up and twinkles, and it's gorgeous. So I really liked that. Okay, also back to the criticism thing. I just brought that up because a lot of people have been asking me in the comments, can you give me some advice on improving my art? And so I would definitely recommend that you kind of like take a break from your art and look at it, you know, a couple days later, a couple hours later, something like that. Because when I critiqued my art just a couple minutes ago, honestly, I'll just say this. I'm doing my voiceover 2 weeks after I drew this, and so I didn't look at this for like 2 weeks. Okay, just kidding. I looked at it a couple times, but yeah. So if you want to improve your stuff, always take a break. You can't just do something in one sitting and expect it to just be perfect. You have to take a break because after you stare at something for a long time, you kind of just start leaving out details and just almost like desensitizing yourself to like what you're going for, if that makes sense. For instance, I painted a bathroom a couple weeks ago, and it was blue, like a pretty seafoam blue kind of thing. And I thought I only needed one coat because I was in there for so long painting, and I was like, yeah, I think this is fine. I see a lot of blue. And then I came in like 3 days later, and I was like, man, this really needs another coat of paint. Why did I think that the second time? Well, I took a break from looking at it. Anyway, back to talking about the character. HALINA is a woodland frolicker. She's this little elf that goes about in the woods and explores, and she's kind of like my other character, Malika, except HALINA is probably a little bit more outspoken, I would say. She would be the extrovert, the bold one, that would just speak her mind more, I guess, and be more upfront and bold, and yeah, as I said. Alright, I hope you like this. Follow me on my social media, and I hope you join my art family if you haven't subscribed yet. Love you guys. See you next week.